The day I fought beside humans and witnessed true honor. I am Kaethar of the Dralith, warrior born of a species raised on conquest and discipline. We Dralith have fought across 1,000 stars, our banners flying in the smoke of victory. But for all my battles, for all the blood I have spilled and seen spilled, I had never truly understood honor until the day I fought beside humans. 1. The Warfront. The Kreel had pushed the Council fleets back to the edges of Arvax Prime. The planet was a jewel of agriculture, a vital food source for half the sector. Lose it, and millions would starve. I commanded the 3rd Dralith cohort stationed in the southern continent. Our fortifications were strong, our discipline unwavering. Yet, when the Kreel descended, their numbers were like a black ocean. And with them came the humans. Only 100 of them, sent as advisors and support. I scoffed when I first saw them, soft-skinned, short-lived deathworlders with too much swagger in their eyes. Warriors were meant to be sharp and ordered, not reckless predators with smiles like blades. Their leader introduced himself as Captain Mara Vey. Her grip was firm, her eyes steady, but I doubted she would last the week. I was wrong. 2. The Siege. The Kreel swarmed us, their war beasts pounding against our defenses. Wave after wave, they came, relentless and unending. At first, my cohort held firm. Dralith discipline cut them down, shields locked, spears flashing. But the Kreel adapted, hammering weak points, tearing gaps open with monstrous strength. We began to falter. It was then that the humans moved. They did not fight in formation. They scattered like shadows, slipping between lines, striking from impossible angles. Grenades where the enemy clustered. Sniper fire where commanders barked orders. Knives and rifles in hands that never shook. They moved with chaos, yet every act fit together like a web. Where we fell, they filled the breach. Where we weakened, they struck hardest. And all the while, Captain Mara's voice cut through the battle, calm, fierce, unyielding. 3. The Turning Point. On the 3rd day, the Kreel broke through the southern wall. Their warlord, a brute twice my size, led the charge. My warriors fell back, their formation collapsing. I stood ready to die holding the line when Mara appeared. She met the Kreel warlord head-on, blade flashing against armored hide. She was smaller, weaker, mortal flesh against chitin and rage. Yet she did not hesitate. They clashed with a fury that shook the ruins around us. Every strike she took should have broken her. Blood spilled, ribs cracked, yet she kept rising. I rushed to her side, but she snarled at me through blooded teeth. Hold the line. This one's mine. And then I saw it, not madness, not arrogance. Honor. She fought not for herself, but for us. For every soldier who stood behind her. I obeyed. 4. The Duel. The Kreel warlord laughed at her resistance. Fragile prey. You will break. Her reply was a whisper through gritted teeth. We don't break. We fight. Blow after blow, she endured. She used his strength against him, each parry a lesson, each wound a price willingly paid. At last, with one final surge, she drove her blade through his throat. The beast toppled, roaring in disbelief. Silence fell. Then the humans cheered, their voices fierce as thunder. My cohort, too stunned to speak, found our courage again. We surged forward, driving the Kreel back, hearts ignited by one human's defiance. 5. The Aftermath. When the battle finally ended, the plains of Arvax were littered with bodies. Victory was ours, but at terrible cost. I found Mara among the wounded, blooded and pale but still alive. She refused treatment until every one of her soldiers was seen first. When I knelt beside her, I asked, why? Why risk yourself so recklessly? Her laugh was weak but genuine. That's not reckless. That's what honor is. Standing when it matters. Not for yourself, for everyone else. I had fought in wars all my life. I had heard speeches of glory, of conquest, of duty. Yet none of them ever struck me like her words. 6. Reflection. In the days that followed, I watched the humans. They laughed through pain. They carried their wounded without complaint. They buried their dead with songs and promises. They were not perfect. They were scarred, wild, sometimes reckless. But they were bound by something deeper than discipline or conquest. Honor. True honor. The kind born not of pride, but of sacrifice. And I, Kaethar of the Dralith, who once thought humans foolish deathworlders, found myself humbled. 7. The final truth. Now, when I stand before my warriors, I do not speak of conquest. I do not speak of banners or glory. I speak of that day. The day I fought beside humans. The day I saw a fragile being rise against a monster twice her size, not for herself, but for all of us. The day I learned what honor truly means. And I carry it with me still. Because in the end, it was not strength, nor numbers, nor discipline that saved Arvax Prime. It was humanity.